okay? The next thing is authority. And this is more about where are you getting these links from, okay? A link from the LA Times is going to be more powerful than a link from a new blogger that just launched his blog yesterday. Why? Because LA Times has millions of links coming into them. And then they're going to link to you, so you're going to have a more, Google's going to think, oh, this is a higher authority site because this other site has thousands of links going to them, are now linking to this other site, okay? So that's the second aspect. You have popularity, sheer number of links, then you have authority, where are these links coming from, and then the last thing is relevance. Getting a link from within your industry to your site is going to be extremely powerful in comparison to getting a link from a cooking blog to a car racing site, okay? So you got to think about the relevance aspect as well. However, these three things are separate. So just because you are not getting a relevant link doesn't mean it's bad, okay? It's still useful. But each of these three factors has a limit on top of them. So once you get to a certain point on popularity, you're not going to do yourself as much good getting a bunch more links than if you're to get some relevant links to your site. Same thing with authority, etc. Okay? So we're going to talk first about relevance. How do we figure out what Googlebot's psychology is, right? What does he like? How does it work, etc. So first things first, Googlebot is a robot. Okay? He's more or less a bunch of computers. Everyone calls him a bot. Okay? A big, huge server farm that runs around the internet, literally following link to link to link to link, and makes copies of all of our web pages and puts them on this, I guess for simple reasons, a hard drive. Okay? A big bank of hard drives. And when people do searches, they query against that information. So it's important to know that that's what they're querying against. Sometimes Googlebot will only look at your site once every 30 days. Other sites get spidered every 2 to 3 minutes. How do you get spidered more often? Depends on how important you are to Google, okay? If it thinks that, if Googlebot feels that your site's really important, has a lot of popularity, authority, and relevance for whatever search phrases, like their top search phrases, you're going to get spidered more often. You're going to have this robot come by and make more copies of your website more often. And then your fresh information will be available for searchers. Google makes a complete refresh of their entire database of web pages every 30 days. So no matter what, you're going to get your new content looked at within 30 days. This is what Google has said anyway, okay? But trying to, there are ways for you to drive additional freshness to your pages as well. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So, next thing is context, okay? Googlebot doesn't get, jokes, puns, etc. And there's an example I'm going to share with you guys from 2 different experiences I had. One was a year ago when I started with Tribune, okay? Metromix, a Tribune company, came to me and said, hey, we want to rank really, really well for St. Patrick's Day bars, just right around St. Patrick's Day. I said, okay, that's fine. Like, what page do you want to rank well on? Well, this one right here. And the headline was Get Lucky, okay? Nothing about St. Patrick's Day bars was in there whatsoever. Okay, the content inside the story was, kind of tongue-in-cheek, just fun, snappy content, right? I think they mentioned St. Patrick's Day bars one time in their entire page, okay? So I told Sean, I'm like, hey, there's no way you're gonna rank well for St. Patrick's Day bars because you don't have the relevancy, right? What's on your site is not matching the query that you want to rank well for. So by then it was too late. Their next build was after St. Patrick's Day, so we missed an opportunity there, okay? Another example, Targus. I was their director of e-commerce or e-business or something like that 3 years ago, okay? And Targus makes laptop cases, okay? No one looks for laptop cases. They look for laptop bags because that's what people search for. How do I know this? I did some keyword research, which I'll get into in a little bit as well. And I went to our marketing department, I went to our upper management, and I said, guys, they're not laptop cases. Laptop cases are what you look for on newegg.com for making your own laptop. that's a laptop case. No, we do not make bags. Bags are what you put your groceries in. We do not make bags. It took me a year to convince these guys to change our content on our pages to laptop bags. As soon as we did, 40% increase in traffic from search engines. Think about opportunities that are out there in your own websites where things are similar to that, where you have a certain tone you want to have to your page, where you have a certain name you want to call your product, even though no one thinks of looking for it that way. And make some hard decisions about it if you want to start getting free traffic from search engines that queries happen 2,000 times a second. Okay? Next thing, blind spots. Googlebot can't see certain things. Number one, Googlebot cannot see iframe content. Anything you put in an iframe is kind of technical, so if you don't understand what I'm talking about, talk to your web people, okay? Iframe content, can't see it whatsoever. Next thing, JavaScript. Doesn't run JavaScript, doesn't trigger anything that's inside JavaScript. Flash, back in May or June or something like that of last year, Google came out and Yahoo and Microsoft all came out and said, hey, we can now spider Flash content. Everyone got really excited about that. Today, Nike.com's homepage in the eyes of Google is completely blank. Okay? Honda, my cousin works for, probably covers this area actually, he's a Midwest regional manager for Honda motorcycles. Okay? They launched a new motorcycle, some type of hog of some sort. Their page, their own page for this motorcycle does not even show up in the first 50 results for the name of their motorcycle. Why? Because it's an all Flash page. Okay? Yes, Google can read Flash. However, you need to go through a lot of additional steps in order to make sure that your Flash file is built properly for it. Tell your Flash people that they need to go out to the Adobe Search Engine SDK and make sure that all their full Flash pages adhere to the Adobe Search Engine SDK. Okay? They'll kind of know what that means. It will take them 2 to 3 times longer in order to build their page, because you have to put a bunch of tags and information in that no human is going to see. And no Flash guy, while he was in college learning this very cool whiz-bang stuff, right, is going to know that it actually makes a difference. So you got to do that. Flash elements on the page, like little sections on the page that are Flash, go for it. Because the rest of your page is in HTML, Google knows what the page is about, you're good to go. But a full Flash page, especially a full Flash site, I can't recommend it. I just can't. All right. Images. They don't use facial recognition software. They don't use, they can't tell Barack Obama from Michelle Obama. It has no clue what your image is about unless you tell it what your image is about. How do you do this? Name of the JPEG file, that's important. Okay, no one thinks about that though, okay? What folder it's in makes a difference, right? Google News, for example, really likes to see them in /images, okay? So think about where you're putting your images, what you're naming your .jpegs or .gifs or whatever. Okay, think about that. And then the most basic thing you can do is actually put in alt text. Okay, this should be required. Okay, in fact, it shows an error when your webmaster tries to verify it against HTML verification files, right? It actually shows an error. So make sure they're actually putting in alt text. So that way the search engines know what this particular image is about. What is alt text? When you scroll over an image, you'll see text pull up sometimes. That's what it is. Go to your website, roll over your images. If no text pulls up, shoot your webmaster out. Okay? Have them fix it. Or fix it. Okay? Alright. List of ingredients for good SEO. This is the basic stuff, guys. Okay, number one, this text is really small, so I'm going to have to read it. Here we go. Analytics. If you don't have an analytics program, Google Analytics